Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Happening, the show shedding light on the false utopia promised by the post-war global order. The best way to support my crusade is by subscribing on both YouTube and Rumble, as YouTube is quite unreliable. Thank you. The happenings we'll be talking about today, migrants. That's right, the doctors and engineers of Europe are at it again, helping to culturally enrich the native population. Our first story brings us to Narbonne, France. A group of migrant teens culturally enriched a 17-year-old boy by filming themselves beating and stomping him to death. The footage is unfortunately too graphic to show on my YouTube channel. I've already learned my lesson in that regard. The 5 migrants are currently in police custody being held for murder, but even if convicted, it's still up to the judge to enforce the law justly. Let's see if the regime can restore some faith in its institutions by punishing these teens accurately and severely as they deserve. Personally, I recommend the reintroduction of the death penalty for crimes like this. Sadly, however, if the judge is an ideologue, then I suspect the punishment will be minor, if any, as we have seen occur in the Western world for the last 15 years. Will the white man's absolute faith in abstract justice institutions that only enforce the law of whoever is in power be our demise? It's yet to be seen. One thing's for sure, though, is that we must find a way to recapture these institutions away from ideologues as well as women, whose studies show feel empathy for people being punished regardless of innocence or guilt, whereas men feel empathy for the innocent only. My hypothesis is that women have a habit of projecting a maternal instinct onto things or people they deem helpless, even if those people are not actually helpless and are violent criminals. But I digress. Moving on. The second story. A migrant was openly jorking his shit at a public beach in Europe. Once again, I cannot show you the video as it will cause my channel to get nuked from orbit by the YouTube AI algorithm system. In this video, you can see what appears to be an African doctor performing a sex ed demonstration to women and children at a public beach. In the aftermath that followed, a scuffle ensued in which the indigenous population defended themselves against this migrant as he became aggressive. So we can see here in the video, some of the guys approach this guy who was jerking his shit big time. He had it out. He was jerking his shit in front of a bunch of kids, and just how they do. They like doing that for some reason. I'm not sure what's wrong with them, but either way, a bunch of indigenous patriots came to the rescue to stop him. So let's see. So hands start getting thrown. They're teaching this guy a lesson. Body slam him to the ground. Dude's picking up the chair. Stone Cold Steve Austin here, just smacking him with the chair. And then look who comes running along. Look who comes running to save the day. Oh, dude. I can't take these. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, there's not going to be any women watching this, but even if there are, I'm sorry. I can't handle this, man. This is like a perfect encapsulation of the West here. So, like, women are always in our way. We can't. They always say, why don't you protect us? Why don't men step up? I don't know how. I have like this pit in my stomach and I can feel it permeating through my veins, into my arms, into my chest. It's just like this pit of I feel like I'm just like, I don't know how to describe it other than just like, I'm ready to explode, I'm ready to explode. And it's like our entire lives, we've just had, like, this has been the scene. You've had women like this just running in and they've been henpecking you. They've been just holding you back from doing what needs to be done to save this freaking place. Like, we have a freaking gooner migrant gooning in front of children. Like, this guy is human garbage. Anyone who does this in front of children is garbage, okay? Regardless of race. But the race is just an interesting pattern. That's all I'll have to say about that. But and then, like, instead of letting the men deal with the perverted sexual predator, this woman comes and protects him. And, oh, you okay? Like, what are you doing, you bimbo? And then the guy's like, dude, I'm sorry. At some point, we're gonna have to just, like, if women like this get in our way, we're gonna have to grab them and lovingly force them to the side and get them the hell out of our way. We cannot let women tell us what to do anymore. This is why things are as bad as they are. All these guys, all it takes is one woman and everyone's backing down. Like, I'm sorry, get this woman out of the way, grab this guy, and just restrain him until the cops come. Restrain him till the cops come. It's just like, it's so infuriating, man. It's absolutely infuriating. And this guy says it best. He was wanking on a beach and a white woman still steps in to help him. Like, dude, white women, you guys are not beating the allegations, okay? Like, it's just, you don't understand. When I hear some women tell me that men need to step up and protect them, and then I see a video like this, it makes me violently angry, okay? It makes me so angry you can't even understand. This guy is sitting here gooning on a beach, and then, okay, a bunch of patriots step up to put him in his place, to put this pervert, pedophile, freak gooning in front of children with his freaking wang out in his place. And what happens? This stupid white savior, dumb broad comes in to save the day. It's just so anyway, I can feel my blood pressure rising, and we still got a show to finish here, but it's crazy. Yeah, but that infuriating video aside, we have another video of a hydro engineer that was inspecting Trevi's fountain in Italy. Sadly, the tourists that came to see the beauty of the fountain and its glory and its spectacle, they were interrupted by yet again an engineer, but I guess he was working hard. So let's take a look at this guy. As you can see, this engineer here, he looks extremely intelligent. He looks like he's got a lot of thought going on there. He's analyzing. This is like a geometry measurement here. He's putting his hand up. He's doing the 3, 4, 5 where he's calculating like the square. He's got in his left hand, in this satchel here, he's got Pythagoras theorem in there, just because he, sometimes you forget it. He's just analyzing the fountain, making sure that there's no cracks in this concrete here, so the water doesn't leak on these tourists. A real welcome addition, a real beautiful sight to see when you go to Italy. We gotta be thankful for these engineers, guys. Last but not least, our final story. The UK government was caught hiding 12 brand new migrant centres. Despite the wishes and consistent voting patterns of its population over the last 16 years, the increasingly authoritarian and illegitimate regime of the United Kingdom continuously goes against the will of the people. Despite going against the will of the people that democratically elect them and democratically vote consistently against what they're doing, they still try to maintain this belief in the abstract liberal system of voting in democracy. I'm not sure how you can compute those two things when voting in democracy would have led them to not be doing what they're doing the last 16 years, and they are just doing the exact opposite of that. I'm not sure if they're just dumb or they're actually completely evil, but I digress.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My understanding is that the Home Office are due tonight to announce 12 new asylum seeker centres across the country, with no statement to the House, with no notification.
So at this point, they're just doing it through covert means. This is completely under the table. They know the public is absolutely furious with the migration at this point. And instead of stopping it, they're just continuing to do it under the table and secretly. Now, how can you expect people to not believe the clergy plan is real? That's all I got to say when you're doing stuff like this.
Those of us who are here, and I know that this is a very, very important issue to our constituents, I seek your guidance on how we might encourage the government to release this sort of information here first, so that we can scrutinise it on behalf of the people that we represent here in this place.
Can I say, if that is the case, it is totally unacceptable once again. This government doesn't seem to understand that MPs of all sides should hear any news first, as it is their constituents that are affected. And if it's true it was going to a WMS on Monday, that is also doubly unacceptable. What I would say to the Minister is, there's going to release this information. We have between now and the end, and I am more than willing to extend that he can come to this House to inform this House on whose constituencies are going to be affected. It is unfair. It is unacceptable. When will they get the message? There is going to be a change of government.
They never will.
I hope they learn in the next people who take over. I don't want to continue a debate, but I'll hear it.
Mr. Speaker, merely to confirm that I have been made aware of the same information as my honourable friend has just put forward to you.
This isn't good enough, and I'm presuming you're the same, that you've heard the message.
It's a variant, Mr. Speaker, but can I thank you for speaking up on behalf of all members from across the House. Deputy Prime Minister's questions last week, I raised the point that an asylum centre had been put into my constituency with just hours' notice, and yet the County Council or Shropshire Council, the new the unitary authority, had been given at least 5 days' notice and even weeks.
Well, at least you won't be asking a question of business now you've asked it.
So they're putting it in this guy's constituency, and he hasn't even been informed. And all of the people in the United Kingdom, well, not all, obviously, there's some absolute just brainwashed freaks, but the majority of people viciously and vehemently oppose these migrant centers, and they still are being put in. So this is what is going to have to happen. There has to be a protest, non-violent. I can't endorse violence on YouTube or my show, so absolutely no violence. But was it AOC or Ilhan Omar said, a protest is not about making people comfortable. It's about making people uncomfortable. So if you don't want these migrant centers there, you have to display a show of force. The only thing on this planet that matters is force. What should happen doesn't matter. What is right doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter in the grand... Because something is right or because something should or shouldn't happen doesn't mean that it will or won't, is the point I'm making. The reality is, even if this shouldn't happen, the people who are in power and control the United Kingdom want it to happen, and since they have the power, it will happen even if it shouldn't happen. You guys understand this? So there's no, like, yes, you can vote for Rupert Lowe, despite some of his recent comments, or Nigel Farage, but you can outsource your entire political will to these people. It has failed endlessly. I'm not saying armed revolution. I am completely not saying that. I disavow that right now on this show here. So YouTube, please do not nuke me from Oregon. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying an organized protest. Block this from happening. Just like the trucker protests in Canada, they were blocking the highway in Alberta to the US, and they were blocking the bridge to the US in Ontario, preventing millions of dollars of economic traffic and blockading the downtown. Now, I'm not even calling for something that extreme for something like this, but there has to be a show of force, not violence, but you have to be willing to defend your position and not leave until your demands are met. That is what a protest is. It's not voting for a new candidate. It's not any of this other nonsense. You have to make people uncomfortable. You have to have a physical presence to get your way. That's how this world works. It's all about power and force. And all these abstract should, would, could, what's right, this is right, this should happen, this is not fair that this happens, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter, because whoever has the power and authority makes what they want to happen happen. And that's how it always works. That's how it always will work. Because even look at the justice system, like in the case we talked about earlier. Okay? So these people that are committing these heinous crimes in the US, in Canada, in Europe, wherever else you see it, and they're getting off on whatever, psychology, insane, whatever, blah, 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 or they're like too stupid to know what they're doing. What should happen is the most severe punishment imaginable, because if someone is too stupid to know they've done wrong, they're going to reoffend and they're not useful to society. That's just the reality. Okay? They need to be locked up in a mental institution, right? Or something like that. And that's what should happen. That's what makes sense that would happen. But the judges do not believe in that. They are either ideologically captured, like I have stated earlier. So it won't happen because the judges have the power to make what they think happen. Do you understand me? Okay, this is how this works. There's no begging, there's no if, there's no should, there's no fair, there's no right, there's no deserve. It's power makes happen. That's how it works. That's it. Sorry for the rant. Anyway, yeah, so that was the first installment of my new show, The Happening. So, like I said, I appreciate you watching. If you like the video, remember to subscribe to support this crusade, and that's what it is. It's a crusade. I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm going to be hopefully continuing this show. Hopefully, we skirt around YouTube's shadow bans and all these other like DMCA, not DMCA, but like community guidelines. Like I don't even violate the community guidelines, and then I get taken down for like cyberbullying. Like who am I bullying, man? So there's no bullying in this video. If this gets taken down, I'm gonna crash out. But like I said, follow me on Rumble. Find me on YouTube, Rumble. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter or X, whatever. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.